Now let's get more and go straight to the heart of this story and speak to the Premier of Saskatchewan. Brad Wall joins us live on the program. Premier Wall, a pleasure to have you on. Let me just first get your reaction on this decision coming from the federal government.
Well, we're grateful, certainly, for the decision that the Minister Clement has brought down. It's obviously a case that we made, we think, very strongly to the country, that in terms of the net benefit test for jobs, for revenue to the province of Saskatchewan and the country, and most importantly, for our strategic interests as the place on Earth that is home to 53% of the known world reserves of potash, up to 30% involved in this particular takeover, hostile takeover bid, that there was not a net benefit for this. We know that we can at once be a country that is circumspect about certain takeovers in terms of the strategic interests of the country, but also be a place, Saskatchewan and Canada, a place that welcomes foreign direct investment, that will approve takeovers, that wants investment from all over the world to help us grow our economy. But there are certain deals that are different. This, by the way, is the approach of other free market, free trading countries. And we've laid out those examples recently. New Zealand and Australia and in Europe and the United States. There are certain strategic interests that each country should guard, and we're grateful for the fact that the federal government has agreed that that's important.
Premier Wall, what made this deal a little different? Because at $130 a share, some said that was fair value for potash, $40 billion in total. In fact, BHP took out full-page advertisements to try to make its case, and they said they would make Saskatchewan its home for potash. So what did you disagree with in terms of BHP's bid here?
Well, there's a concern in terms of jobs with respect to Canpotex, which BHP said they'd move out of. There was a concern, of course, that if BHP proceeded with its often publicly stated marketing model of standing in front of their customer and taking the world price and full production, that we would lose potentially the expansions underway, $6 billion worth of Mosaic and Agrium in the province and the jobs that were attendant with that expansion. We had a concern about revenue loss, which would be significant to Saskatchewan people. And finally, and most importantly, there was a concern about our strategic interests. Saskatchewan is, we understand we're very blessed to have half of the world's potash just in our province, within the country of Canada. And so while we want to welcome foreign investment, while we have an enterprise-friendly government that has, I think, helped to oversee some significant growth in our economy through lower taxes, through balanced budgets, through the right balance in terms of labor legislation, we also need to be strategic because of the size of the resource in question. We have to think generationally on this issue, and that's what made it a little bit different. Well, frankly, a lot different. And why we've made the decision.
Wall,
but those are some of the areas we're concerned about. You use
the term strategic quite often in describing potash. What makes potash strategic? Is it just because of the size of the company itself and the revenue that this company generates and its importance to the provincial coffers that you oversee?
No, I mean, that's part of it in terms of the strategic interests of Saskatchewan, but it's more than that. I think, was it Mark Twain that said the thing about land is that nobody's making any of it anymore? We see the declining arable acres in the world today. All the while, the world's getting hungrier. The UN's weighed in on that pretty significantly in terms of how the world's going to be demanding more food. And we know that diets are intensifying in terms of their protein content, which will mean agricultural intensification, which means this very special nutrient that's needed, especially in places like China and India, is strategic. And we need to act that way in our country. Other countries do that. You know, Australia said no in 2001 to a natural gas play for strategic reasons. Investment didn't stop. It actually increased in the years that ensued because I think companies understand that countries will want to, progressive countries will want to welcome foreign investment, but they'll also want to balance against their own strategic interests, and that's what's happened here, and we're grateful for the federal government doing that.